Okay, so I really just wanted to take intentional time this morning. I know there's a million things a lot of us could be doing right now, but also it's really, really rewarding. I mean, this is the kind of stuff what we have to do to fit this business in. This is not an all-day business. It shouldn't be an all-day business. It should be a small, short chunk of focused time and then go do whatever the heck you want, whether that's with family, whether that's with friends. All my 3 kids just walked in the door. Hi. Okay, gotta be quiet, okay? So we are gonna get to work and we're gonna get going. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. There we go. And I have a fancy dancy PowerPoint Canva thing. So we're going to call this, we're mainly going to focus on the income producing activities, what I like to refer to as the IPAs, AKA the unsexy part of this business, right? Like this is the part that we're not making cute Canva graphics. We're not, talking to people about our hair and our nails and making social media posts. And maybe you don't think like that part anyways, but like this to me was the part that I avoided like the plague. Talking to people, adding new people on Facebook and Instagram, inviting people, following up with people. Come here. Sorry, I have a bedhead boy. Right. Okay, why don't you guys go see daddy and snuggle him? Okay, so the first thing I have for us that we are gonna do is mindset work. So I'm curious, drop in the chat, what are you doing for personal development right now? Which I love. And this is again something I didn't do my whole first year as a coach. I thought personal development was hocus pocus. I said I have my Bible, which truly is all I need, but I was struggling in so many other areas with fear and limiting beliefs that I needed some clarity brought to a lot of areas of my life. And that's what personal development can do. Okay. Can you go sit with your brother? There's my homeboy. Ooh, oh yes, I saw that one day. Now that one looked good. Okay, so I actually have a quick personal development that I wanted to share with you guys. So you can cross it off your list right now. We're gonna take 2 minutes to watch this video. It is Julie Voris. And if you don't know who that is, she's a coach. She's been a coach for 12 years. All I know is that she's hit elite 12 times, which just tells me she knows what she is doing. And she is constantly just doing the things to make her business grow. She's just not settling. She's constantly inviting, connecting, following up, working on herself. And she spoke at Leadership in Scottsdale with Dana and I. And she just had this one part of her talk that I just wanted to share with you guys. So I'm going to pull it up. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear it okay. Right, can you guys see it? Okay. So just a background story, and I think she'll explain it in this. Her husband is a football coach. He coaches Butler University. So that is what she's going to talk about.
Of the business, as I'm figuring them out, we can learn that stuff, but the logistics of the business don't matter if you don't know the logistics of you. You need to be a student of you. That's the most important piece. That's the most important place you can put your energy to learn. You'll figure out, preferred customer. Figure out you first. The rest of the stuff will happen. Now listen, I'm gonna show you a picture. This is my husband. He exists. It's a little bit like the Loch Ness Monster, isn't it? It's like you think you've heard about him, but you're not really sure. There he is. There he is. He also has his headset off. This is a very dangerous situation right now. If his headset is off, things are bad on the field. I'm telling you that right now. I sent them a lot of pictures. This is the one they chose. Don't tell him about this. We talk, he's a college football coach. And we talk a lot about this idea of TNTs, takes no talent. The stuff that takes no talent is the stuff that where you can stay motivated or connected to your business. In his business, the player that runs off the field rather than walks off the field is a different kind of player. The player that hangs up their uniform meticulously rather than leaves it on the locker room floor is a different kind of player. The player that shows up an hour early for the away game bus is a different kind of player. That stuff takes no talent. And when I focus on that stuff, pressing play, drinking a shake, reading a book, inviting people to join us, which is the same stuff I focused on 13 and a half years ago. Nothing has changed. It takes no talent, thank goodness. That's why I can still be here. When I focus on that, that keeps me from going down the slippery slope of comparison and imposter syndrome that exists right down here. So I just focus on the stuff that takes no talent. That's how I stay motivated or connected. Second, I have big goals, and I try to make them.
All right. You could probably sit and listen to her all day. She's so good. But I love that part of takes no talent. I've tried to just bring it back, and I think I've even told you guys about it. That's not what I want. But yeah, that's what we're doing the things. This is the thing that we don't have to go to school for. We don't have to go study for and get a binder ready for like all this practice. Like, you just gotta go do it, go put it into action, and that's how we learn. So activity tracker, if you are brand new, I know we have some brand new girls on this. Just wanted to show you where it is located in our office. If you go to tools and reports, I'm on my laptop, so it looks a little different. And then I don't use it on my back office, so that's why it says 0% and everything. You go to tools and resources, go to business resources. It's the first one, daily activity tracker. Like, how cool is this? It pulls it up. And we're gonna talk about really quick proof of the products. We've already done maybe 2 minutes of personal development. But this is the section, connect and invite and follow up, that we are going to spend majority of our time. So if you didn't know where that was, there it is. And curious, if you want to drop in the chat whether you do digital tracking or pen and paper. I know I'm a pen and paper girl, so that's why I don't ever use this. But I know this, for some people, this would be perfect. Okay, your job, be proof the product works. And I love that some people have already gotten up. They've worked out. You guys, you're probably energized, is flowing through your veins right now, ready to crush the day. So I want to hear, why don't you just share, everyone share what work or what they're doing for their program right now and what day they are on. Oh, test group. So jealous of the girls in the test group. So awesome. Again, make sure to shout if you're in the test group. I know they're very select limited. Like, make sure your audience knows that that's a freaking big deal, because it is. They should know that, like, you're in a very secluded group because you are doing a very secluded program because you are. And that is really cool, all because you are helping people on their health and fitness journey. Like, that's really neat. And you get helped on your own. All right, 60-day bod challenge, 9-week control freak. Oh, I love seeing everyone all over the place. Yes, I am on a job one matchup calendar that I made because I'm obsessed with 20-minute workouts. Okay, so just remember, like, if you, like, that's a crucial part of this business, is being on some kind of program, being a proof of the product works, yada, yada, yada. A lot of us know that. Okay, now we are going to get into the IPAs. I'm going to get rid of some stuff so I can make this a little clearer. How do I make this big? There we go. Okay, we're going to spend 10 minutes. I'm going to set my timer and we're going to do the connecting piece. So I just wrote out usually 5 or 6 things that I do when I sit down and connect. And look at this again, it takes no talent. Look at this. I always sit down. Your mindset around this activity is crucial. If you are sitting down and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know about sending that invite or sending that, like, adding them as a friend. What are they going to think about me? You need to figure out what you need to do to flip that switch right now. For me, and I know sometimes it's lighting a candle, playing some rap music, drinking some Bevy Focus or Energize, sitting down and be like, all right, who is going to be like a rock star challenge group member, who is going to be my next coach, or who is going to be my next best friend, because this business has brought some of my best friends into my life. Like who am I going to talk to that is going to totally change my life? It's going to change their life. Like you need to make sure you come into this with a mindset of excitement, of possibility, instead of the mindset of fear and doubt, because it makes a big difference when you sit down to work. So what I'm going to be doing is, if you didn't put a poll up in your story, that's no worries, but putting a poll up in your story about like a topic of coffee or tea, like it could be anything. Like make sure you use that to start conversations. So I put up one about clothing. So I'm going to go to all of the people who answered the clothing poll and say, thank you so much for, voting on my clothing poll. And then I'm going to throw at them a question. I might say, are you going on any fun trips this year? Because mine was about a trip I'm going on. Never just say thank you. Always ask a question. So I'm going to do that to all the people. I'm going to go to Facebook and I'm going to add 5 people. I don't overthink this. If we have 10 mutual friends, add them. I'm not going to think like, oh my gosh, what is Susie going to think? Is she going to think I'm so weird? Like, I don't care. I'm just going to add them and then trust the process that if I'm adding value, eventually they'll start watching my stories. I'm going to go to friends of friends on Instagram. So let's say Brittany. I'm not going to go to Brittany's page. We don't do it to other coaches, but I'll grab Brittany's page. I'm going to go to her friend list. And if I see anyone on there that we are not friends on Instagram, then I'm going to follow them and I'm going to follow them. And if they have a little circle around their name, that means they have an Instagram story up that I could watch. I'm going to click on it really quick. And maybe it's of their kids. Maybe they're showing their dinner. I'm going to ask them a question. Like, these are the things that take 2 seconds to do and start conversation up. And then, of course, comment and ask questions on Instagram stories. One thing I always do when I'm sitting down, and then I'm going to let you guys work, is, so pull up my Instagram app. So we have all our pretty stories up here. Scroll all the way to the right with your stories and start there, because those are the stories you probably never watch, right? Like those are the stories where you can just start, you can start some conversations, you can love what they share, and then we're going to move on. So I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. I'm not going to play music on my end. If you want to play music on your end, go ahead, and then we'll move on. All right, wrap up whatever you are doing. That was 10 minutes of connecting. So if you struggle with connecting like that, set a timer, pull the list up of like some things you can do for connecting, and just get to work. One thing I wanted to show you really quick before I move on to inviting, of what I do when I'm connecting with someone and maybe we have a conversation going. And I'm a mom of four. I know you guys, a lot of you are moms. Even if you're not a mom, like our brain is just in a million different places. This is a really easy place on Instagram, how you can like put this conversation in a folder so that you don't forget it. When I first saw this, I'm like, this is kind of weird, but actually it's kind of awesome. So let me get out of this. There. Okay. Let me go to my Instagram. Let me go to, okay, let's just say this mom. Let's say we were having a conversation, which I'm pretty sure I've invited her like 10 times looking at who she is now. But we just started a conversation and I just want to make sure she is someone I'm being intentionally talking with. Or you could even, I do this too, like maybe I've invited her and she has said, no, that now is not the right time. And then I'm going to put her in a place for later. So if you just click on this little bookmark and you can then view your saved, you can, I don't think I can do this on my computer. I can't figure it out. I'm going to do that. Okay. Because then if you do, well, maybe it's this, go to I could save her to like that collection. I think if I hit that, I can only do it on my phone, but basically I can create different collections where I said like follow up with this person or keep conversation going with this person. And it's just an easy way because especially in Instagram, things can get lost. People can get lost really, really quickly. So that's personally just a way that I kind of keep people organized to remember to come back and talk to them every maybe once a week, follow up, like go check their posts, check out their stories, what they're doing. So easy ways to connect. All right, inviting. 2 questions that you need to ask yourself when you are inviting, when you're sitting down or really even like looking at this next week ahead. We're really in our full last week of March. Is 1, what are you inviting to? And who are you inviting? So 1, what are you inviting to? Just thinking off the top of my head, things you might be inviting to. Gut protocol group, if you're doing that. Maybe you're doing some fun April themed group. Maybe I know I'm going to do a sneak peek the last week of March. I'll give more information on the team page about that. But like those are the kind of invites that I might not be sending the sneak peek invites today, but like I will be doing that later this next week. So what are you inviting to? Because that's going to craft your invite. Some of them can just be pretty generic. Ooh, flash sale Monday, fun. 4-week gut protocol, yes. So even if like I'm doing both like gut protocol and I'm just going to invite to my like ongoing boot camp that I have, because even though I want everyone to do gut protocol with me, I know for some it's not going to be the right place for them. So that's not the only thing I'm going to invite to. Like if the conversation feels right, I'll throw in gut protocol. But for the most part, my invites are going to still look the same of let's get you started with a total solution pack. So I'm going to show you. So who are you inviting? If you didn't come with a list, I think I asked you to come with a list of 5 or 10. I personally only invite people who are watching my stories, liking my posts, and voting on my polls, which if you're voting on my polls, you're watching my stories. I know sometimes in a bigger, for me, and like some people invite anyone and everyone, and that is totally, totally fine. Like everyone has to find out what works for them. In bigger seasons, like of a bigger launch, I will invite my whole friend list, not my whole friend list, but like most of the people on my friend list who I think would enjoy this. So, but for the main part, if they're not watching my stories or liking my posts, then I'm not going to jump into their inbox and say, hey, want to join me? Because I personally don't like when I get those messages from someone I don't even know at all. Or, because if I'm following them, then it's like, hey, you're in my office or in my store. I'm going to send you an invite. So here are my 3 main invites. I'm going to copy and paste them. You don't have to use them at all. So if someone liked my post, again, like this would have to be a post around inviting them to my boot camp or like join me. So if you're not doing those kind of posts, you're not going to have this kind of message. But this is a really easy one for me to send. Hey, Ashley, wanted to say thank you for the support of my post yesterday. I know it takes 2 seconds to click like. Truly means the world. Not sure if you want any more info. Sending some love. Like that's an awesome way to just tell people thank you. You see them. How are you? Not yucky at all. From stories, I like to keep this one short and sweet. I'm putting these all in the chat section if you're not in the chat section. Hey, Jen, I just want to thank you for following along my journey. It means so much to me. I'd love to extend an invite to my spring boot camp. Da, 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 da. Short, sweet, to the point. From polls, because I pulled a poll up every single day in my stories. I don't miss a day to put a poll up in my stories because who am I to hold this back from anyone? If someone is ready in that very moment, I want them to have an opportunity to hit yes. How often does that actually happen? Pretty slim. How often do I get people who hit in on accident? A lot. And a great conversation usually follows. So don't be shy to put polls in your story. So I just actually sent this right before we got on because I had a lot of people accidentally click the poll that I put up yesterday. Hope you're doing well. I saw you click the poll on my story about more info and getting started in my boot camp. I always say, I know it may have been an accident, but would love to share more. Okay, we are going to do this for 10 minutes. And if you didn't bring a list, go look at the people who are liking your posts. Go look at people who are watching your stories. Get out of your comfort zone and ask. Because if someone didn't ask you, if someone didn't ask me, if someone didn't ask everybody on this team, no one would be here today. So stop holding this back from someone. Life is so much more fun when it's doing this with others. So let's at least give them a chance. Here we go. And go ahead and drop in the chat people's names that you invite, just for some added accountability. All right, I'm actually going to stop us right there. That was 7 minutes. So you can see if you have a list, even if you don't have a list, but you set a timer and give yourself 7 minutes, you can get a lot of invites out. A lot. And I was the last girl I invited. I saw she was doing another thing. I think it was Plexus or something, but don't be afraid to invite like someone who you might know or might see is doing something else, because a lot of times they don't have the workouts or they don't have the accountability groups. They don't have a lot of things. So don't, if you follow, like maybe you run into a lot of your people are already doing something, still invite them. And I know Brooke is really good at that. I feel like you always, because yeah, they just don't have a lot of the workouts and nutrition pieces that we can offer. And then, hey, they try Energize. Hey, they try Shakeology. You never know what can happen. All right, follow-ups. My favorite, one of my favorite things to do, because this is where the magic happens all the time. Invites are very, very, very small percent chance that they're actually going to say, yes, I'm ready. Sign me up with a total solution the very first time you invite them, right? Like usually what happens is you'll send an invite, nothing. Or you'll send an invite, they express interest, you give them everything, nothing. Or like, you know, those are the kind of things. So I just want to remind you, the follow-ups are where the magic happens. Most of my people, the people I'm at Success Club 10 right now, most of them are because the conversations I've been having since December, January. That's a 3 to 4 month turnaround. Sometimes it's conversations that I've been having 6 months, a year, 5 years, but I know I'm going to be doing this a year from now. Like, these conversations are worth it to have for when they are ready to join. So this graphic just shows that follow-ups are where the magic happens. So if you're avoiding doing them because you're scared, you need to get over that. It's actually ickier if you just invite them once and then never come back again, in my personal opinion, because you're showing them like you don't even care. You're not checking in with them. I usually ask when, like, if they tell me no or it's not good timing, I ask one deeper. I'm like, okay, what's going on right now? I know I just kind of try and relate to them, so then I can bring that situation maybe back up the next month. So I have 3 main follow-ups. So if someone ghosted me after they got all of the info, right, and then I haven't heard from them for a week, I have a lot of those girls I actually need to follow up with today. I always like to come back in with this because I give people the benefit of the doubt. I never know if maybe they saw the message, didn't see the message, their 3-year-old deleted my messages. I don't know. Hey, Eddie, I just wanted to check back in. I'm not sure if you saw my last message. I know these can be easy to miss with the rush of spring break. A lot of us are in spring break. Like, give people a break. Hope you're having a great, mine says Monday. I'll say weekend probably. Maybe you sent them an invite and they never, ever got back to you. This is a great message to follow up with. Hey, hope my last message wasn't too forward or offended you. I just wanted to touch base and say thank you. Usually I might say thank you for following along or following my journey. Hope you have a great weekend. And then if their previous months were a no, I always like to come back, or maybe I haven't touched base with them in a couple months. I always like to say, hey, Sarah, hope your spring break was great. I would tie in something personal. I know we've chatted before and it wasn't great timing. We are gearing up to kick off our spring boot camp. Would you want more info? So nice, short, sweet. It's a good touch point. Someone just asked me this week, like, well, how many times is too much to invite them? Like, if maybe you've invited someone and followed up with them for like 6 months straight, then give it a break for a couple months. And maybe, we have 2 big programs about to launch, Fire and Flow and Joel's programs. Maybe kind of come back to them around those times if you've followed up, and they're just like, I'm not ready. No, thanks. So just keep those in mind, that like we have 2 big programs coming that these girls, when they're ready, they can jump into. So I'm going to set it again. I'm going to do 6 minutes this time, and then we're going to do follow-ups, and then we're going to wrap up. All right, that is where we are going to stop today. So I'm going to, the only other things we're not gonna do these. But if I had a little more time, I know kiddos are all up and I need to get going. But I spend 5 minutes, try and spend 5 to 10 minutes a day here of getting people results. Something, and that if you were at the Diamond Retreat last year in Florida, Doug talked about this. I think he did. He usually talks about this every time, that for most of us in here, unless you're a 15-star diamond, which I don't think anyone in here is, one day we will be, 90% of your business should be on what we just did. You should not spend 90% of your business in your challenge group, in the coach team page, in talking with your coaches. Like, that's your team, whether you have 20 girls on your team, whether you have 5 girls on your team. That is where you pour into them, you love them, but for a short season, especially if you especially if you only have an hour to give to this business a day, that needs to be 5 to 10 minutes or less. The other stuff is where you need to focus so that you can keep pouring into your team. And then eventually, as your team starts to grow, and they do need help with sneak peeks, they do need help because they're all starting to branch off into their challenge groups, then you spend a little bit more time there. So just a reminder, like, if you're playing it safe and spending all this time in the challenge group or in your coach pods or wherever, you need to get the heck out of there for a little bit and go do this stuff first. Okay. That's a little tough love for you. I'm going to stop sharing. And thank you guys so much for joining. That felt so good to just knock a lot of the stuff out. I honestly think I'm going to take a social media break today after this and just enjoy the day soaking up with family. So I encourage you to do the same. Or maybe if this is a day it's like, hey, I'm going to get a lot done for work, go do that. But remember, this is something that's supposed to give us time, more freedom in other areas. So if it's not working for you, you need to get laser focused on why it's not working and make sure you're being intentional about these things. So thank you guys so much for jumping on. And yeah, let's make it a good little Saturday. See ya.